somewhere along the way, the world quietly ended, and most people are still pretending it didn't. These days, humanity has one word for the things it can no longer stop. It calls them natural disasters. Except these disasters have faces. They're called superhumans, and a single one can level a city block without breaking a sweat. Most of them are mindless animals, killing indiscriminately, slaughtering anything unlucky enough to be nearby. But one young superhuman does the one thing nobody else bothers with. Before he throws a single punch, he tries to talk. "Can you speak?" He asks the monster in front of him, still hoping that one day, one of them will finally tell him where they all come from. And when the answer is silence, he does the only other thing he can. He crushes them with everything he has. This is Superhuman Era, the story of the one walking disaster who hunts all the others. Let's get into it. What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Apex Manhwa, your home for handcrafted manhwa recaps. If you enjoy the video, do me a quick favor, smash that like button, hit subscribe so you never miss a recap, and drop a comment telling me what you think. I read every single one. All right, let's get into it. We open in a high school classroom in Incheon, where a teacher is running through vocabulary. Next up, he says natural disasters. Break down the word. He explains, and it means an ill-starred event of nature. Floods, earthquakes, typhoons, that sort of thing. But these days, he adds, we also use that word for anything we humans simply cannot stop. And he doesn't even need to give an example. Not in times like these when the whole world has been overrun by disasters. In the back of the room, two students aren't listening at all. One's whispering about something far more interesting than grammar. There was an incident a few days ago over in Oryodong, he says, and someone finally uploaded clean footage of it. Look, it's the white cap superhuman. Unlike the usual blurry, faraway clips, this one is close up and high resolution. The two of them huddle over the phone. Oh my God. One breathes, staring at the screen. It looks completely unreal. I'd be done for if I ran into even one of those, the other mutters. What has the world even come to? Then the teacher's voice cuts in. Hey, you two in the back. What exactly are you whispering about? The boys freeze. And that's the exact moment it happens. Every phone in the room lights up at once with the same message. Alert. Not just any alert, either. A disaster alert. The warning that means one of these superhumans has appeared nearby. An alert? Someone gasps, the whole mood in the room snapping tight. Because in this world, that single word can mean the difference between an ordinary day and a massacre. Ju-ri couldn't hide her nerves. She kept asking if Kong was even listening to her. Kong, calm as ever, just asked her whether he should try talking to it first. The odds were slim, but they agreed it was worth a chance. Before any fight, there was always one thing to do first. Before you start a fight, always try to talk to them. That was the rule Kong lived by. Most of them were animals that killed indiscriminately and deserved to be beaten to death. But every so often, you'd run into one that could actually talk. And a talker might just give up its objective or where it came from. Better than killing it outright, he figured. What was there to lose? So Kong stepped up to the superhuman and asked the only question that mattered. Are you able to speak? He met a few others like this one before. If it could understand a single word he was saying, now was the time to show it. All it managed was a confused animal grunt. No answer. Just a long, empty silence, and Kong got his answer anyway. So talking was off the table. The thing lunged, and Kong took the hit as it came. But he was far faster than he looked. Ju-ri rushed over, frantic, begging him to be more careful. Yeah, he shrugged, but talking didn't work. Meanwhile, someone else was narrating this same disaster. Broadcasting live, hovering at a safe distance from the Inhuman, over Incheon Port. Reporting from 600 meters in the air, they called it an unbelievable sight. The white-capped superhuman had appeared, and they weren't alone. The Inhuman Subjugation Special Task Force had arrived on the scene. The captain ordered his people to keep weapons up and hold on standby. Nobody was allowed to open fire. A soldier warned that the port entrance was too narrow for the tanks and the railgun. Fine, the captain said. Everyone stays on standby. The truth was, they didn't fully grasp what an Inhuman really was. It wasn't something their weapons could handle. Intelligence had studied Whitecap's past fights, and his power alone was expected to blow past the military's entire standard firepower, which meant the Inhuman on his level was just as far beyond them. If the Superhuman lost, there was nothing they could do. So why were they even here? Because the captain answered, even guys like them had a plan B. Back on the broadcast, the reporter marveled that the Whitecap Superhuman was fighting the Inhuman with everything he had. He might be veiled in mystery, but one thing was clear. He was fighting for humanity. Currently, though, it looked like he was losing against the Inhuman. The thing was fast, brutally fast. This, Kong thought, was exactly why you never judged a book by its cover. Then the tide turned, and the task force could only watch. Kong went down, and someone screamed his name. Captain, they stammered, the Whitecap. There was no way he'd lose like this. But this was the moment their mission kicked in. Help him without ever getting in his way. Plan B. The shot rang out and landed clean. A headshot, straight into the Inhuman. And with the monster down and Whitecap still standing, the chapter cut away, leaving the fight far from finished. Kong picks himself up out of the rubble, relieved. If he hadn't been thrown into something, he mutters, he'd have gone flying clean into the sea. Overhead, Ju-ri circles down toward him, calling his name. She's just glad he's in one piece. Then she nods at the creature across the field. This one's another dud, she says. Either it can't talk, or it simply won't. Kong sizes it up. It sure looks that way, he agrees. So there's nothing left to learn from it. Oh well, he shrugs. Guess he'll just have to crush it then. He winds up, pouring everything he has into the swing, with all his might, and he lets it fly. The blow lands with a force that swallows every sound. For a long beat, there is nothing but the aftershock. Somewhere in the city, sensors twitch. Something registered. Real. A monitoring crew scrambles. A quake that big, and just now, and the reading wasn't even clean. They gasp at what the instruments are telling them. That wasn't a fault line. That was one man's punch. Back at the crater, the Superhuman drags itself through a last ragged, choking breath. Ju-ri stares, half afraid to believe it. It's over. She'd been so sure the thing would haul itself back up. Kong confirms it. Yeah, it should be dead. He felt its skull give way under the impact. And if it somehow gets back up, he says flatly, he'll simply beat it to death all over again. This one wasn't even that strong, he adds. Nothing like the monster from the Anmayan Island alert. Ju-ri remembers Anmayan Island. Kong had a genuinely rough time with that one. But they aren't alone. Off to the side, someone is laughing, delighted. Fights, he grins, are always best watched live. Just as the rumors said, the stranger murmurs. Kong really is one ruthless bastard. And the scariest part, he didn't even use all his strength, right? Kong catches the presence. Wait here, he tells Ju-ri. He'll be right back. In an instant, he's on the intruder, and the man reels. Who even is this guy? Kong stares him down cold. Who are you? The stranger only throws his head back and laughs, unbothered. Damn, he says, that glare of yours is genuinely terrifying. The mark of a Whitecap Superhuman. Two apex predators, face to face, neither one blinking. To be continued. The fight is barely over when a stranger fixes his eyes on Kong. Damn, your glare's pretty scary, he laughs. Whitecap Superhuman. Kong goes rigid. Who is this guy? Where did he even come from? Back at command, Ju-ri sees it too. There's one more of them, up there. On the monitors, nobody can quite believe it. Something strange has happened. Standing right in front of the Whitecap Superhuman who just took down the Inhuman, a mysterious man has appeared. The two of them seem to be talking, but from a distance, no one watching can make out a single word of it. Someone in the peanut gallery gets impatient. Hit it already, you retard. Are they going to fight? The captain has no more answers than anyone else. What in the world is this situation? I have no clue either. An unidentified individual out of nowhere. All they can do is give the order. Keep your guard up until Whitecap leaves. Yes, sir. The stranger's a fan. He gushes that the fight was flashy and explosive, an absolute blast. Kind of like Ketchup Man in that lands. Kong goes soft, mumbling which part of me is like Ketchup Man. In Ju-ri's ear, it's a disaster. Damn it, he's feeling flattered. Ju-ri knows the weakness by heart. Kong is helpless against compliments. Pull yourself together. Make him talk. Who is he? Where did he come from? Kong might not be good at reading people, but Juri can't be fooled, and she's already made up her mind about this one. This guy is dangerous. Ha ha ha. You've got no sense of crisis, the stranger crows, delighted. He admits he's been watching Kong closely. TV broadcasts, social networks, streams, everything. Every time an inhuman alert went out, Kong showed up without fail. And today, the stranger says he came because he has something he needs to do. Watching the fight was just a bonus. From the beginning, I didn't come here for you. I'm not going to do anything to you. Kong isn't buying it. Why should I believe that? Juri warns him through the earpiece. Remember Samcheek, the men in suits who acted friendly and then fired tasers at him. The agents were on the scene that day, too. This could be the same. Government, military, no way to know what he'll pull. She tells Kong to get out of there. The stranger sighs at being distrusted so hard. Fine, since I feel like I'm being despised too much, I'll tell you something interesting. What does the material world refer to you as, he asks. The answer is simple, superhuman. I'm also a superhuman, he says. Kong and Juri both freeze. What? And there are more. Beyond just the two of them, guys that defy logic, guys stronger than anything Kong can even imagine. Kong takes it in. Okay, I kind of already expected that. He admits, since there are already two verified superhumans in America and Europe. But Korea had, unofficially, only ever had one. Just Kong. At the same time, in the United States, watchers spot their own oddity. Who's that weirdo? Is he a follower of Whitecap? The cocky-looking guy with braids, they say. Ben, can't we listen in? But even their tech can't crack the conversation, and Ben's dying to know too. In Scotland, a similar scene, only nobody's paying attention. A kid drags his sister off, buzzing that he secretly bought them tickets to the Justin Bieber concert. In Moscow, another crew clocks the stranger. Never seen him before, but intuition says he's a superhuman. I don't care about that. He just looks like an asshole, one snaps. Yes, he does look unpleasant. Back at Incheon Port, Kong has had enough. So what? I don't care whether or not you're a superhuman. So don't follow me anymore. He turns to leave. You're going when I still have more to say? The stranger laughs, and then Kang's stomach growls. He's hungry. The stranger just grins. That's fine. I'll meet you at your school. We can finish our talk there. Kong stops cold. What did he just say? Aren't you a student, the stranger says, when you're not wearing a mask? What? Kang's blood runs cold. How does he know? Ha ha. You seem shocked, the stranger says. Don't worry, I promise to keep it a secret. And he's not done. Pass it on to the pink-haired dude talking to you through the earpiece. My lips are sealed. He's seen everything. Kang's identity, and that pink hair is no average guy. From the mask to the ultra-small camera, he's read the whole operation. He's a genius with real potential. The stranger muses about Juri. I had to seriously resist the urge to kidnap him. Then the threat lands. Whitecap, I'll have to play with your friend while you're at school. Ha ha ha. Something in Kong snaps. This bastard. How much does he know? The stranger feels the shift. Did I go overboard with my joke? Your whole atmosphere is completely different now. Kong throws his words back at him. You said it. You guys are superhumans, right? Juri panics in his ear. Hey, Kong, wait. Not now. The opponent. But for Kong, it's already personal. Juri is his one and only family. I'm going to make sure you can never get even close to him again. Ha ha. Now, I didn't think you'd get this mad. The stranger tries to walk it back. I'm not your enemy. We can keep talking without the hostility. I don't care, Kong says flatly. In his ear, Juri can only breathe his name. Kong. The stranger relents. Well, if that's your choice, it can't be helped. We'll have to fight. And it erupts. Around the world, the watchers jolt upright. What? They're suddenly fighting? Then it connects. Kang's punch, straight home. But the stranger just grins through it. Wow, so you're Tsundere. You came at me like you were going to kill me, he says. Yet you still pulled your punches? Kong came in swinging with murder in his eyes and still held back. And on that unanswered question, this one's to be continued. The stranger just grins at Kong and calls him a Tsundere, like this is all some game to him. You came at me like you were going to kill me, he points out, still smiling. And yet, He adds, "You still pulled your punches." He noticed the hesitation Kong thought he'd hidden. If you want to keep fighting, the man says, then fine. But he wants Kong to understand something first. There's no need to test the waters. Showing generosity in a fight, he says, makes Kong a fool. "I told you." He reminds Kong, "I'm a superhuman just like you. Same breed. Same monster underneath. So come at me with all your might." He warns, if you don't want to die. But he'll tell Kong this now. Once they really get started, this whole place gets blown to smithereens. Because neither of them will be able to stop until everything around them is destroyed. Juri's voice cuts through it. "Kong, calm down. What he's saying isn't wrong. There's nothing to gain by fighting him." It does bother her, she admits, that these two appeared out of nowhere already knowing their identities. But he's a superhuman Kong has never faced before. They need to back off by time to think and gamble on him not being an enemy. The stranger laughs. "Seems like you got the gist of it," he says, "since you don't look like you want to fight anymore. We'll meet again," he promises. "Let's talk then next time." And he turns to leave. "Wait," Kong demands. "Give me your name. I won't let you go otherwise." "Fair's fair. My name is Lim Kong," he offers first. The reply comes back a riddle. "It's Nanji," the man says, and the name reads only as unknown. Unknown. Then he's done. "We're finished talking. Let's go," he tells his partner, Dan Yang, who offers to take a look at his arms. He just laughs it off. "They're not that bad," he says of the wounds Kong left him. "Let's go," Dan Yang. And just like that, the two of them start walking away. They disappeared, someone gasps. "I thought we'd get a spectacle, but it ended so anticlimactically." "What, it's over?" "It appears that way." "Appears that way, my ass," comes the reply. After all that waiting, it's still unknown why Whitecap took a swing. But had they fought, the whole area would have been leveled instantly, casualties and all. That's likely why both backed off. Then the civilians come. They waited just to thank Kong and Juri. "Thank you," they say. "We were saved because of you." "We were almost goners," one of them breathes, still shaking from how close it came. "How can we repay you?" "If it's all right, they know a place that sells really good stew." "What in the world are you saying?" Kong cuts in. "That's okay," he tells them. "No repayment needed." Elsewhere, the Watchers get their signal. Whitecap is leaving. "All right, it's all clear. Send in the Inhuman Corpse Recovery Team right away," the captain barks. "Don't get loose on me now." "Yes, sir." But a subordinate has a complaint. "Captain, the problem isn't the bullet's shape or weight, and tweaking the gunpowder won't change much either. They may have built this extreme high-caliber rifle with the best armor-piercing rounds, but it's really no better than a normal precision rifle. I can't do anything with a toy like this," he says. "Without something more revolutionary, we all die a meaningless death." "Got it," the captain says. "I'll pass the message on to the ISSDF researchers." Then the phone rings. "Salutations, Commander." The situation comes the clip demand. Ah, yes. The Whitecap superhuman has just left the scene. As seen on a live broadcast, the Inhuman was taken care of by Whitecap. On the line is Beck O'Gene, commander of the Inhuman Subjugation Special Task Force. "Why are you making me call you first?" he snaps. "I'm sorry, sir. Listen carefully. As I told you before, the most important part is the safe transport of the Inhuman corpse." "Yes, sir. I've already dealt with the NFS and the other national agencies, so don't worry. Just safely load the corpse in a transport vehicle 101 as planned." "Got it." "Yes, sir. Down at the docks. They're already loading it. Keep going. There's enough space. The transport vehicle is here. As soon as the corpse is loaded, it's no longer their jurisdiction. The captain's mission ends the moment the ISSDF retreats." Later, another report comes in. The casualties amounted to 14 dead, 2 in critical condition, and the caller begins. "I don't care about all that," the commander cuts him off. "What's wrong with you? Just give me a summary." "The transport vehicle with the corpse is leaving for the Falcon area soon. Arrival time? Tomorrow night, sir. Additionally, on est interrupt. It's time, sir, you have to go." All right. I have to give a speech, so hang up. Don't waste my time with useless crap," the commander warns. "This is your final warning." "Got it." "I'm sorry, sir. What's up with these guys?" he mutters, hanging up. And now he already wants to gag from having to speak in front of these dirty ants. Outside, the crowd erupts. Oh, he's coming out. Full of hope, they cheer for Marcus. Everyone, let me introduce you, the announcer booms, to the forerunner of a peaceful world and a revolutionary future. Marcus Gerald, the name of the man the whole crowd came to see. Back at Incheon Port, the crew calls it in. The inhuman corpse has been secured. Transporter ready for takeoff. All units back up. They left immediately after the corpse was loaded. Wow, someone breathes, watching it vanish. Captain, Transport Vehicle 101, what is that? That's exactly what it is, a transport vehicle. Is it part of the ISSDF? No, the captain says flatly. We don't have to know anything about it. Some questions aren't theirs to ask. And somewhere, someone is already watching that vehicle roll out. Is it headed to Falcon? Kong had someone by the collar, and he wasn't asking twice. One last time, he told the man, depending on the answer, he might let him live. Then he demanded to know where Sherlock's base was, because he intended to go crush the man himself. The problem was the man could barely choke out a word. He needed Kong to let go of his throat first if he was ever going to speak. You crazy bastard. Kong didn't hear it that way. A piece of trash, he sneered, even after being given a chance. The man gasped that he'd said he would talk. Kong just tilted his head. Was that the loyalty between them, holding out like this? And then the scream tore out of him. Kong wound up and delivered it with a name and everything. Ketchup Smash. Don't be such a wuss, he scoffed at the crumpled man. That wasn't even a tenth of the power of a true, unyielding Ketchup Smash. He decided to spare him, after all. Hurry on back to Sherlock, he ordered, and deliver a message. As long as he stands, no one may threaten Earth. And that's when the crowd erupted. He won. They cheered. Ketchup Man whistles, gasps. Look at that manly figure, so sexy, amazing. As expected of Ketchup Man. Because none of this was real. It was a broadcast, a live fight between Ketchup Man and the monster staged in the middle of New York City. The rampage neatly handled by the hero's arrival. And when the villain begged, but you said you'd spare me, Ketchup Man just snapped, shut up, I changed my mind. The show blasted its own title card. Ketchup Man really is Earth's hope, the hero of this age. Superhuman. To be continued, the screen taunted. Whenever the Earth is in danger, he will appear, boom boom clap. Somewhere, one hooked viewer groaned about how they were supposed to wait a whole week. Cut to morning, and that viewer was Kang's roommate, glued to Ketchup Man first thing after waking. How was he not tired? Someone asked, after fighting that much yesterday. He'd had to catch the premiere. It was amazing today, he gushed. Make sure to watch the rerun. So, Ketchup was in New York. He's going to spoil it. Wait, Kong, stop right there. Then, casually, all right? School probably isn't canceled today. What? Why are you telling me this now? Why? Because he forgot, obviously. They'd apparently said classes were resuming as normal, since the Inhuman got defeated right away. Hey, Kong, slow down. You're not even late yet. At least close the door. Someone called after him. Too late. Kong was already gone. What a hassle. Out on the way to school in Incheon, kids were arguing about the real fights. White Cap got on, one insisted. Didn't you see the live broadcast? He punched like this, and the guy with braids blocked it easily. Another kid shot back that seeing it didn't mean White Cap got owned. You retard. Then what was it? You could tell by the situation he was at a disadvantage. So what? White Cap's still the best. Yeah? Are you going to be the one fighting when the monsters actually show up? Because White Cap, the kid insisted, is the only person who fights Inhumans while risking his life. White Cap is a hero. Hero my ass. Hadn't he heard the rumor? White Cap was a cyborg built by the military. Are you seriously yabbering about unproven bullshit again? If I was White Cap, I'd beat the crap out of you. What a super fan. Take a swing then, bitch. I swear I'll land one on your face. LOL. Dumbass. Will your hand even be okay? That bravado evaporated fast. A hulking upperclassman loomed over them. You ugly motherfucker, he growled. I should beat you up. You want to die? I'm sorry, they stammered. I'm really sorry. We're fucked. This guy was cold take. Way to piss him off first thing in the morning, punching him in the gut like that. I'm sorry. His eyes slid to Kong, standing there. Look at this asshole. Blank stare. Have y'all gone nuts? Stop staring. Sigh. Unbelievable. He muttered. I'm going to remember your faces. Especially you, Kong. If you keep walking around glaring like that, I'll dig your eyes out. God damn, this school's a mess. And who wears a parka in May? We're retard. Doesn't even carry a bag. That son of a bitch. Kang's classmate shuddered. We were so screwed just now. Why? Who is that bastard? You've heard of the Gundu gang, right? Not really. Of course you haven't. It was an organization born out of M.A. Bong Middle School. A gang part Gundu built by beating up every known fighter around. Guys whose strength went beyond any average high schooler. Notorious because no one in Incheon was a match for them. And being a brand new school with barely any upperclassmen, this place was basically their playground. Worse, most of the gang had transferred to Seoyun High. And that long-legged guy, just now, was Cole Taek, their capo. Sigh, is this for real? All those shitheads came to Seoyun High? Why didn't I know this? We're really screwed. Anyway, the classmate begged, please stay clear of the Gundu gang. Just be a fly on the wall. Elsewhere, a girl was screaming at a dozing student. For real? What is it? You spook me. She called him over 10 times, the idiot, sleeping first thing in the morning. Are you seriously going to keep wrecking your face? She told him to quit boxing. Don't come to my class, just to pester me. What are you, my mom? Then her eyes caught on someone being dragged along. Lim Kong. Hey, Kong said flatly, apropos of nothing. Your fly's open. Your classmates are cute. He added, then, LOL, I'm leaving. Oh shit, it really is open. LOL, just go already and don't come back. But something made Kong pause. You, he said. You smell like cigarettes. HM? Hey, Jinju, he said to the girl. Stop hanging out with those guys. Don't pester me, she snapped back. Where are you, my mom? If you quit boxing, Kong shrugged, then I'll consider it. LOL. LOL. He's an idiot too, she muttered as he left. This was Hong Moo-hee, Seoyun High first year, class 3. Then the scene cut a world away to the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Something moved out there. Just now something. The water broke. What's that? Whatever it was rising, and it was headed toward land. To be continued. 2 dock workers were killing time on the boat, ribbing each other. If you're going to bring your little princess a present. One of them laughed. Why on earth did you pick a penguin? The other man wasn't fazed. His daughter's dream was to fly all the way to Antarctica just to find penguins, he said, so he bought the toy the second he saw it. She'd love it. He was seeing her that very day. His shift ended at lunch, and he'd head straight home. Living out on the boat like this, he joked, his own kid might forget his face. His buddy howled with laughter. She actually told you that herself? Yeah, the father grinned. She could say all kinds of things now. She'd grown so much. Time really does fly. And it flies even faster when you're watching a kid grow up in front of you. Something occurred to the other man, quieter now. Come to think of it, he'd never once gotten his own daughter a proper gift. Isn't a penguin a bit much? His friend teased. Get her a doll, too. A doll? At her age? Anyway, he said, bring that thing inside before it gets soaked and starts to stink. Then, out in the water. A splash. One of them froze mid-sentence. Something just now. He couldn't say what he'd felt, only that something was wrong. The father brushed it off. His daughter would kill him if he broke his promise today, and besides, the penguin wouldn't stink once he peeled the plastic off. And then he saw it. What is that? There was no time to understand. What? A cry. And then it was on them. Ugh. What in the words never finished. Whatever had come up out of the water moved faster than anyone could react. The father could only reach for his friend. Bro. A single word, hanging in the air. B-bro. He was already gone, and all that was left was disbelief. Cut to Seoyun High in Incheon. A normal classroom on a normal day, worlds away from a dock now, soaked in blood. They've been showing up more and more lately. The teacher was saying, the incidents. 3 times just this year alone. The public's fear had climbed to an all-time high. Nobody knew when or where they'd appear. We are, he told the class, quite literally living alongside these dangerous things. So today, the math teacher, Park Chong-suk, announced they'd skip the lesson and talk about the Inhumans instead, since they'd covered so much last week. Inhuman. Exactly as the name says. A species that isn't human. From what little was known, they possess strength that could wreck a dump truck or a tank in a single hit. And the speed to close distance at 200 kilometers an hour. Superpower monsters, plain and simple. and by all accounts, they instinctively try to murder humans. Unless you'd stood face to face with one, he said, you couldn't even begin to imagine how terrifying they were. The United Nations had recently announced the numbers. Over the past 5 years, 37 confirmed inhuman appearances. Of those, Korea alone had suffered 6 inhuman incidents. And counting the incident at Incheon Port, that number became 7. That one was just yesterday, wasn't it? 14 fatalities. A complete tragedy, the kind the students have been hearing about their whole lives. But of those 7 incidents, he went on, the white-capped superhuman had appeared in the last 5 and resolved every single one. A superhuman as mysterious as the Inhumans he fought. Someone who came from nowhere. And people had started to pin their hope on this unknown figure. But there was a problem drawing attention all over again. The 2 incidents that came before Whitecap ever showed up. The very first, the one that alerted the world to Inhumans at all, the 2015 Ipohang incident. 15 dead on the scene, and the corpse of an Inhuman that looked as though someone had already defeated it. A truly mysterious incident, unexplained to this day. Then the next year, January 2016, 75 dead and over 100 injured. The tragic Gangnam incident. The work of the first undefeated Inhuman. Heptahorn. Heptahorn, named for its 7 horns. The first Inhuman ever to survive. According to the few survivors who could remember, as people were dying by the dozens, a long-haired large man appeared and fought the Heptahorn. But then the large man simply vanished, nowhere to be found, and the Heptahorn slowly faded away into the sky. Experts theorized the long-haired man, suspected of being a superhuman, had been killed by the Heptahorn, or was hiding, biding his time to return. And the wounded Heptahorn was still out there. Because of that incident, the Center for Inhuman Disaster Alert was created. Alert levels were assigned to every appearance, and now those warnings blare out the way any disaster alert would. And within the military, a special unit was formed, the Inhuman Subjugation Special Task Force. The real question, the teacher said, was the connection between these 3. Who was the long hair that stopped the Heptahorn? Did he really die? Where is the Heptahorn that supposedly killed him? And the white-capped superhuman, who surfaced right around the time both of them vanished. What was his identity? Were the 2 who fought for humanity really unrelated? But the biggest question of all, he said, leaning in, where did the Inhumans even come from? He looked up. Half the class was slumped over asleep. Are these guys for real? Hey, wake up. The bell was about to ring, so he'd say just one more thing before they finished. The most important thing wasn't studying or tests. For the young people who were the future, it should be a deep interest in the society they lived in right now. In times like these, with humanity's weakness laid bare, don't just bury your face in a math textbook or your games. Please, he said, take more interest in the world. See you next class. That, he told them, was the honest opinion of your teacher. Later on the phone. Yeah, honey, class just finished. I gave him a little talk and left early. I'm on my way. It was the anniversary of his death. What are you talking about? Of course I have to get there early. I'll be right there. See you soon. He had to go. He had to go see his son. To his lonely son. A father had to pray that his boy would never cross paths with any of these things. And with that quiet vow, the chapter left him walking toward whatever waited. It opens on a quiet, aching prayer. A father speaks to his son, telling himself he has to go and see him. To his lonely son, he says, Dad needs to pray, so that you won't meet any monsters in heaven. In this world, even the dead aren't guaranteed peace. Cut hard to the open water. The Atlantic Ocean, vast and dark, stretching in every direction. Something out there stops a man cold. Bro. Whatever he's looking at, it isn't supposed to exist. And then the scream. Terror rips across the water before anyone even understands what's happening. Someone's on the radio now, breathless. Emergency. Emergency. Taylor, quickly. The coordinates are 30. The transmission dies mid-sentence. All that survives the static is a single broken plea. Save me. On the other end, an operator strains against the noise. Please respond. What's the name of the ship? KZZT. But the line keeps cutting out. The vessel had a name. The SS Opera, a Royal Utopia cruise. Somewhere out there, a whole ship of people is going dark. On another ship's bridge, an officer demands answers. The situation? The report comes back tangled. The AIS data says it's a fishing boat, but the transmission was cut off before they could confirm the name. The ship calling for help sits 10 nautical miles out. It's opposite their course, but only 25 minutes away. The captain doesn't hesitate. Change course right now. Prepare for a quick rescue. Yes, sir. Whatever's waiting out there, they're sailing straight toward it. Then the Manhwa yanks us somewhere completely ordinary. Seo Yun Hai, lunchtime. A kid groans, damn, I'm so hungry. His friend snaps back, can you please shut up about being hungry? The answer is pure teenage tragedy. My mom isn't giving me much food because I gained weight recently. The talk drifts to how lucky their class placement was. Because the guys in the higher numbered classes, they say, are living through hell. The reason has a name. Those fucking guys, the Gundu gang. The three heads of the Gundu gang all landed in the higher numbered classes, and most of their lackeys with them. So this class, they figure, lucked out hard. Not entirely, though. They've got one of those bastards, too, a lackey who struts around thanks to Park Gundu himself. Then someone remembers a card in their hand. Isn't Quan Chul in our class? Wouldn't Quan Chul be able to take care of the Gundu gang? Quan Chul, they agree, is fucking strong. One insists he just wasn't the best fighter in middle school and gets called a dumbass for not knowing better. The truth is he hates being a bully. Unless you mess with him, fighting is a hassle. When the head bully of Woonjin Middle picked a fight out of jealousy, Quan Chul just disintegrated him. Over in the lunch line, someone else is quietly desperate. Hey, Annie, please put the spicy pork on top of the rice. Could you give me a bit more, please? The lunch lady just asks what he wants more of. Some more spicy pork? And then the moment turns unbearably lonely. Could I call you Mom? Just once. Before it lands, someone barks, get move on. That someone is Lim Kong, our superhuman. He steps up beside the boy with a simple hi. This is Quan Chul, Class 3, from Woonji Middle. He looks Kong over and asks, why are you always eating alone? Kong admits it flatly. He eats alone every day because he doesn't have any friends in the class. Quan Chul just wonders what this guy's deal is. Then Kong turns it right back on him. You seem like you also don't have friends. Quan Chul can't argue. I also don't have him. You're also a pretty lonely guy. Two of the strongest kids in the room, both eating by themselves. He sizes up Kang's build. Do you do sports? You got a pretty good physique. Taekwondo, Kong says, self-taught. And just like that, a truce becomes a friendship. Let's eat together from now on. Cool. Sure. The peace lasts about a second. Fuck. A commotion erupts across the cafeteria. It's the gang, shoving a kid around. Get out of the way faster. Will you only move if I beat you up? So sorry. The bully makes it worse, sneering about someone cutting a line, admitting he's been having trouble managing his anger. This is Cole Teak's squad of the Gundu gang. Someone mutters, which asshole is that, and gets hushed instantly. Keep your mouth shut. They're the Gundu gang. Everyone knows to look away. But Cole Teak is only warming up. I can't seem to keep my head cool lately. It's over for you fuckers. His plan is casual cruelty. He'll walk around and beat up 5 guys he just doesn't like the look of, and at that same moment, half a world away, we're in the USA Secretary of Defense. Please wait. That's why I'm telling you, we have to hurry. The secretary shares the panic, but preaches patience. Everyone feels helpless, staring down a clock while so many people could die. All they can do is wait for the 2 who are coming. Then, at last, they're here. 2 figures step in. Mr. Withrow, Galen Withrow. Ms. Pearl, St. Pearl. Still no word, one notes. James, we still haven't heard anything. Every second counts. They'll get the full details on the way, but the summary is grim. An unbelievable worst-case scenario has occurred. Worst-case scenario? The word hangs in the air, waiting. And there it is. A cruise carrying 3,000 people, the SS Opera, has been attacked by an inhuman in the middle of the ocean. To be continued. It's a situation where every second counts. James promises the full briefing on the way, but he's got a one-line summary ready first. An unbelievable worst-case scenario has occurred. A cruise ship carrying 3,000 people, the SS Opera has been attacked by an Inhuman. Not on a port, not near coast, in the middle of the open ocean. If it's true, it's about as bad as it gets. 3,000 souls trapped on the water like rats with nowhere to run. Truly the worst-case scenario. Exactly, James says. The clock is ticking hard, and that's not even the biggest concern. There's something worse coming. Kang's partner cuts him off. Sorry, but they can't waste another minute. He can fill them in on the flight. Let's go. Before they board, the secretary is asked if he has any last words for them. A long pause, then just this. No, come back safe. Alone again, Kang exhales. His lips went dry just from sharing a room with them. Because those two aren't ordinary agents. They're superhumans, the very thing society calls natural disasters. Ever since their run-in with Whitecap went public, the world has been digging into them. Someone even posted a bounty. A bounty? One of them laughs. Should we go ask what we did wrong? The other isn't laughing. Do we really have to expose ourselves like that? You knew it was a live broadcast. There's a reason I got on the news, comes the reply. I'll explain later. But things are getting too interesting to keep ignoring. The world will fall into chaos soon enough. And when it does, the question is only which side will be more fun to join. After all, a game is only worth playing if it's balanced. On the helicopter, the mood is anything but light. It kind of feels, someone mutters, like I'm headed to my own funeral. An awkward attempt to lighten it lands flat. You two, your seatbelts, don't have to be fastened if they're uncomfortable. Then, immediately, I'm so stupid. What am I even saying? For Kang, this is a first. His first time flying out to the literal middle of the ocean for an Inhuman incident. It's roughly 500 miles from here to the SS Opera out in the Atlantic. Estimated arrival, 2 hours. So James begins the briefing. Today around 4 p.m., an SOS reached a Navy base on the Virginia coast. The distress call said only this. Ship under Inhuman attack. The ship was the SS Opera, 2,500 passengers and 500 crew aboard. The Navy grasped the gravity at once and requested Ms. Pearl's help. But she and her partner were away in Scotland. With the two of them absent and no time to sit on their hands, the ISSDF headquarters and the Navy's underwater demolition team were deployed instead. 5 full squadrons, drawn from the ISSDF and the UDT, were sent to the scene. They arrived at 8 p.m. Within 20 minutes, every line of communication went dead. As impossible as it sounds, all 5 squads were most likely annihilated. 20 minutes, Kang repeats. Just 20 minutes. And there's a bigger problem still, James adds. What is it? The SS Opera is running on autopilot. At this rate, it will dock in Florida exactly as programmed. So we be letting the Inhuman loose on land? Basically, James says. That's right. Which is why a decision has already been approved. 40 fighter jets armed with miniature nuclear missiles, with a single order. Blow up the SS Opera on the ocean before it reaches land. A long silence. Then a bitter laugh. Crazy bastards. With the number of survivors completely unknown, the government has decided this is the best course of action. We don't know how many are still alive. We don't know anything about what's happening in there, James stammers, shaking. Then a firm voice cuts through. Stop trembling. You don't have to be so pessimistic. Because I'm here now. Meanwhile, elsewhere, a different scene. It's over for you fuckers, someone snarls. I wanted to grab some food, and you blocked my way. Ruined my whole mood. Shut up, I'm not done with you. I said I was sorry, the other pleads. Then a new voice, flat and cold, brings it all to a halt. Stop that, assholes. And on that note, the chapter breaks off, the next confrontation just beginning. It starts with a threat and a body already flinching. First, someone says, and the beating begins. A brute is working himself up over nothing. I wanted to get some food, yet you blocked my way, he snarls, ignoring the guy already sobbing that he's sorry. Then a voice cuts across the alley, flat and unimpressed. Stop that, assholes. The bullies wheel around, stunned that anyone would dare. What did you say? You heard me, the newcomer shoots back. Stop it, you piece of shit. And to anyone watching, the read is instant. This one is dangerous. The first swing comes and goes with a grunt, and a stranger just exhales a bored little laugh. Did they put something in the food today? He wonders, like this is all just an inconvenient afternoon. Then he lays out exactly who he is. I'm such a piece of shit, I don't hold back against girls, he says. And I know exactly how dumb each of you is. That only makes them louder. Yet you won't stop running your mouth. They scream, throwing everything they have. He sizes them up as he wades in. So the rumors were true. You really are scum that do whatever you like. A crowd starts naming him. Quan Chul, someone whispers. According to the rumors, he's no average guy, out of Woonjin Middle. Word rips through the schoolyard. Quan Chul is going to fight the Gundu gang. Kids shout, shoving for a better view. Move your giant head, move. One of the thugs still can't believe it. Did you lose your fucking mind? He roars at Quan Chul. But Quan Chul is already on him, cold and taunting. What were you saying? He asks. Finish your sentence. His crew rallies behind him. You finally met your match. They cheer. Show him who's boss, Quan Chul. It doesn't last. One clean hit and a thug folds with a choked cook. The onlookers realize this isn't going to plan. This isn't how it was supposed to go. One gasps. That son of a bitch, Kolte. Quan Chul spits and finally shows a flicker of respect. All right, so you're not just a bargain bin idiot. Then he says it plainly. You're dead meat. I'm telling you now, don't beg for mercy. But something is wrong on his end, too. Even a full-powered punch to the chin barely moved the guy, he thinks. Is it the difference in size? A calm voice interrupts the whole brawl. Isn't that enough? It's someone strolling and unbothered. Fighting when it's not even noon, he sighs. Such bad table manners. Behind him, the Gundu gang and Namgungmu squad. He barely raises his voice. Radish head, he says. I'm not repeating myself. Back off. The crowd murmurs. Is he even a student or an inhuman? He waves the fight off almost lazily. Kolte, a teacher's on his way, so call it quits. This is Namgungmu, Radish head, one of the 3 heads of the Gundu gang. Fear ripples through the students. It's Namgungmu, one stammers. He looks like he ate a teacher on the way here. The rundown lands grim. He's the biggest of the 3 heads. Technically ranked 3rd, but the most ruthless, so watch out for him the most. A beaten thug drags himself up, wheezing. What a fucking day. Namun motens to konchul olve kurtasi. I've heard quite a bit about you, he says, but you really crossed the line today. And he leaves it as a promise. Being so brazen all by yourself. I'll see you soon. A shaken student sums up the dread. They're the Gundu gang, the worst, and I'm stuck in the same class. These crazies think they own the place. Then something distant makes them freeze. Did you hear that? What was that? I don't know. It sounded like something collapsing. The scene snaps elsewhere to a briefing already in motion. Ms. Pearl, Mr. Withrow, a voice announces. We've arrived, the pilot says, as the target comes into view below. The sight looks wrong from the air. It looks gloomy, one of them mutters. What should we do? The order is simply, open the door. We're 1,000 feet up, someone warns. Will you be okay? We can get closer. Yeah, just open it, comes a reply. We'll communicate through the earpieces I handed out. The handler lays out the setup. They're keyed to your biometrics, so as long as nothing happens to you, we stay in contact. I'll relay your locations. The commander turns to her operator. And James, contact the higher-ups. Her instruction is chilling in its confidence. Since I've arrived, tell them to send the nukes back. Yes, ma'am, the operator answers. I will, as soon as you depart. And to the 2 of you, he gives them the only send-off that fits a drop like this. I wish you the best. On the ground, the verdict is immediate. It's an absolute mess. And they know what did it. It was definitely an inhuman, one says. An instant kill from a single massive impact. The signs are unmistakable. I'm sure of it. It pummeled everyone. Let's go. And on that grim promise, the hunt is only just beginning. To be continued. The briefing came first. The SS Opera was massive. Every floor a different layout, easy to get lost in. Unless the Inhuman decided to approach them, finding it would be a nightmare. Kong wondered aloud whether making a ruckus might just lure the thing out. Is that so? Came the flat reply. Silence hung after it. They couldn't just stand around waiting for it. Which meant, one of them said, they'd have to split up. Best to divide the ship between the upper and lower levels. They were both on the forward deck now, so one of them could head straight for the engine room. There was one problem. Together, they could gang up on the Inhuman and take it down. Searching separately meant whoever found it first might have to fight it one-on-one. But they didn't even know if there were survivors left. Speed 1. It can't be helped, Kong said. I'll take the upper level. Okay, then I'll head to the lower level. And just like that, the plan was set. One last rule before they parted. Withrow, let's alert each other the moment either of us enters combat. Kong moved through the dark, scanning. If it's around here somewhere, he thought, trailing off into the quiet. Down below, the other hunter made his entry. He was in, and cargo was piled up everywhere around him. You're in the cargo area on B4, the operator confirmed. How's the situation? Can't tell yet, he answered. I don't see any people. No bodies, either. Everything down here looked normal. He'd have to look around. Withrow reported in from his end. Nothing new yet. Since the entrance, he'd only found corpses. The bridge, the control room, even the information center. He'd searched them all. Only dead people. It's like looking at hell, he said, and the ship seemed to agree with him. The thing still wasn't showing itself, almost like it was playing hide and seek. Then the line crackled. You're breaking up? I can't hear you well, James. The comms were already falling apart. No way. Why are they malfunctioning this soon? Keep it on regardless, sir, one of them urged through the static. Judging by their location, the operator guessed it could be the effects of the Bermuda Triangle, which was a real problem. With the team split up, communication was everything. Then, out of the wreckage, a voice. My wife was a monster. He was alive. A survivor. I found a survivor, the hunter radioed. The man kept babbling about his wife. Hey, try to stay with me. But the man had lost his mind, snarling that they were demons who had deceived him. The fear had simply been too much to handle. The comms chewed the words apart mid-sentence. The operator could track their locations, but barely talk to them, and it gnawed at him. The only thing he'd managed to give them was a pair of earpieces, and now even those were failing. James! Withrow! What's up with this? Is it the weather? The signal kept malfunctioning, cutting them loose one by one. Then someone recognized her. You're St. Pearl, right? Relief flooded the survivor's face. You came to save us, right? He begged, clinging to the hope of it. That's right, she answered. But I'm not a missus. A small correction, delivered dead calm. She pressed on into the event hall. The stench of blood was stronger here. Much stronger. This piece of garbage isn't working at all, she muttered at the dead earpiece. And then something made her stop cold. A voice cut through the silence, low and searching. Pearl, how are you already in the upper level? The question landed like a warning. Pearl, whatever came next hit hard enough to steal the words right out of her. Damn it, she spat, caught off guard by something she hadn't seen coming. A grunt of pain, ugh, and the fight was already turning against her. And there it left them, comms dead, the hunters scattered across a floating slaughterhouse. To be continued. Damn it, Kong barely gets the word out through gritted teeth, and you already know this fight has slipped out of his control. A pained grunt escapes him as he staggers. Whatever he's up against just landed a hit that actually hurt. I was careless, he admits to himself. If he hadn't reacted the instant he did, he'd have lost his head right there. And here's what's rattling him. It's not an illusion. Is this thing a mimic? How is it wearing Pearl's exact appearance? He knows he let his guard down. But for a copy to pack this much killing power is something else entirely. Then it drops the disguise. Is that its true form? So it really could transform. He genuinely can't believe it. Damn, this really pisses him off. The thing has crawled all the way under his skin. Give me back my arm, you son of a bitch. Because at some point in this brawl, Kong lost one. His earpiece is dead. At least the radar still works, he tells himself, taking whatever small mercy he can get. Elsewhere, a task force operative flags it. Mr. Withrow's movements are strange. It looks like he could be in combat. James, the storm is getting more intense, someone warns. I know that, comes the flat reply. We should land, they decide. Set down on the deck before the weather makes the call for them. Then, down below, the shout goes up. Everyone, St. Pearl is here. St. Pearl? Survivors gape at the figure landing among them. Wow, it really is her. It's the real St. Pearl. And you guys are? We're the survivors, they answer. Still stunned, she looks exactly like she does on TV. The rest are in hiding across the lower levels. This many survivors, she notes grimly. She needs a hurry. St. Pearl, one of them pleads. I know it's a lot to ask, but please save everyone. Back in the fight, Kong reels. Is it because I lost an arm? Even so, to be cornered in a plain fist fight to this degree stings. And it clicks. The thing stays in its true form to fight, because its ability is perfect shape-shifting. That's a disguise, not a weapon. It poses no real threat once you're this close. So he steadies himself. He needs to end this here, and now he finally knows how. Today, he mutters afterward, has been a really annoying day. I'm sorry. He tells it, but I'm not in the mood to fool around any longer. And with that, the game is finally over. Today, Kong admits, has been a really annoying day. And the annoyance is standing right in front of him. He's done being polite. I'm sorry, he says, but I'm not in the mood to fool around any longer. The file on a man reads Galen Withrow, out of East Harlem. He doesn't look all that dangerous, but the gaze is sharp, and the bodies he left behind were dropped in a flash without a single scratch on him. An entire street gang was found knocked out cold and arrested, and everyone had assumed it was the government's doing. It wasn't. It was him, cleaning up trash even the task force struggled with. They're talking, someone whispers, because a body that can beat down gangs and shrug off bullets isn't something you ignore. Kong lays out plainly. I can clearly tell that you're a superhuman. But how did you do that? The wounds stopped bleeding in an instant. Let's not keep secrets from each other. Withrow doesn't deny it. I can't explain how, since I don't know either. But I can instantly harden any liquid around me. The range, he adds, is 10 meters, and inside it he can harden as much liquid as he wants. The answer lands like a stone. No way. He can trigger it at will, he says, but it costs him great amounts of stamina and concentration every single time. It's not freezing. The liquid becomes too hard for that word. Hardness comparable to diamond. He's not chilling it. He's changing its composition, and that's the part nobody wants to believe. And because it's so hard, depending on the situation, it becomes a weapon. Harden a liquid, then drive great force through it. The result, he says flatly, is more powerful than most firearms. Then the fight is on, and it's not going his way. It missed. Someone realizes, even with everything thrown into it. The strike couldn't land clean because the balance is off. Worse, half his head is blown away, and he hasn't slowed down at all. Whatever this thing is now, it doesn't stop. Elsewhere, the task force sweeps the building. No abnormalities on the 4th or 5th basement levels, the lower floors untouched. Which means the trouble is right here. Withrow is definitely in the thick of combat. An observer reports, but there's a bad feeling creeping in. The fight's dragging on far too long. Withrow gambles on his own power. He wonders if it'll activate from an impact, and throws himself at the answer. Afterward, the interrogation begins. First of all, I'm thankful you cooperated with the investigation, Mr. Withrow, they say, before pressing him on the duration of that peculiar ability. Even an ability that defies the laws of science, they reason, must have a limit in range and in duration. Or does it just freeze forever? Of course not, he says. The power is tied to his mental fortitude, and the effects vary wildly with his state of mind. But once something hardens, it holds. At least an hour, he says, before it slips back to liquid. He admits it, almost himself. He hasn't struggled this much in ages, and it's because he lost his arm. The only question left is how to finish it. It starts with a single word, barely breathed out. What? Something's wrong. The realization hits before anyone can put it into words. For a beat, everything goes still. The kind of still that means the worst is already happening. It took some time, but the two of them are finally about to meet up. That's the plan, anyway. Then, back at the monitors, someone freezes. Huh? WH. What's happening? The radar just went dark, cutting out with no warning at all. But it isn't the whole system. It's one signal that's gone. Wait, it's just Mr. Withrow's signal that has disappeared. And that's when the memory surfaces. They'd handed him these earpieces invented by Ben, the ones activated through his own biometrics. The logic behind them was simple, and now it curdles into dread. As long as nothing happens to you, they stay on. No, which means the signal only dies if he does. No way. The mind flashes back to warmer words. They don't say it out loud, but everyone's thankful you joined the team. James, most of all, apparently, was especially happy about it. An annoying fellow, that one. So, how about it, Mr. Withrow? Personally, Withrow shuts it down flat. I'm never wearing that suit. Inhumans are more dangerous than you think. And then comes the speech that matters. There's no telling what monster will appear or what situation you'll be dropped into, just like the sudden danger yesterday. So if it ever comes to it, if even one of us dies, I hope the other won't lose their cool and acts rationally. Rationally. The word lands, and it doesn't sit easy. Depending on the situation, he adds, retreating is a perfectly viable strategy. What he's trying to say is don't fail by going on a rampage. Don't let emotions take the wheel. Because you can't perform shaken up. Whoever survives has to protect the world no matter what, even if that means asking for help. Kong isn't impressed. Oh, you're saying some useless stuff. Because if it's an opponent that even you can't beat, I'm getting out of there. It'd just mean it's not someone I can face. I'm not that sentimental. He says it without flinching. I won't be fazed even if you die. And with that, he turns to go. I'll be taking my leave. Back in the present, the horror finally breaks through. The realization slams home. Somewhere in the wreckage, a strained voice forces itself out. Goo, there's one thing left to say. Since I started cleaning up garbage like all of you, this has been the worst day of my life. So fine. I'll be doing things your way now. Don't even dare imagine how you'll die. Because now it's a promise. The beating opens with pure contempt. He tells the thing at his feet he intends to make this whole day a living hell for it, then adds that it doesn't even deserve to stay alive long enough to feel all of it. So he changes the plan mid-sentence. He's just going to kill it. Get up. Cut to a very different room, a crisis bunker where the mood is fraying. Have we still not heard from James? There's been no contact since they were asked. The request had been to cancel the strike order, and now the silence is being read as the worst case. Were the team already defeated? Someone snaps back, not to jump to conclusions, blaming the weather interference on the comms. They turn to the president. Re-establishing contact with the ISS Opera is critical, they argue. It's not too late for surveillance aircraft, while someone else spits that there's no point flying them out when everyone already knows it's an emergency. A voice cuts across the shouting. Everyone, quiet down. This problem won't be solved by making a scene. The read is laid out calmly. The very fact that St. Pearl and her squad asked for the strike order to be canceled means they believe they can handle the situation aboard the opera themselves. So the demand is simple. Call back those fighter jets without hesitating. Not quite. Someone answers, and the whole room tilts. That laid-back confidence, he says, is exactly what's causing the problem, and someone advocating for it just makes it worse. The bunker erupts. What did you just say? Someone barks the name Marcus in warning, but he refuses to be cut off, insisting the president has already decided. And the threat is real. The nuclear launch sequence is ready, biometric and code verification complete, the deployed F-40s just waiting on the president's order. Give the strike order now, presses Gerald Marcus, U.S. Senator and presidential candidate, while the room chokes out that this is nonsense. Pearl and the others are on the scene. Someone protests, have they ever failed? Marcus just smiles. Haha, is that so? He drives the knife in. They deployed the full HQ team at the start of this crisis and lost all communications the instant those people arrived, and now James and company have gone silent again. Have they ever failed, he repeats. Listen carefully, he says. There is no such thing as eternal peace. And in the 1 in a million chance they fail, will anyone here take responsibility and clean it up? The counter is furious. Do you think launching a nuclear missile is such an easy thing? What about the crew and passengers? There are 3,000 people aboard. Marcus turns to Kondo and asks how long until the opera reaches shore. The estimate, a little less than an hour and a half. You heard him, he tells the room. Ponder it with that time that's neither short nor long. And remember, Fort Lauderdale holds 200,000 people, and all of Florida over 20 million. Don't act like you're better than us. Someone snarls. Aren't you just guessing too? There's a fight going on out there we can't see. Rather than a fight no one can see, Marcus counters, isn't it best to minimize the risk? He acts insulted at having to explain something so simple. The room detonates. What did you just say? Stop, someone shouts, as the argument nearly comes to blows. Then the president finally speaks. Cancel the strike order on the opera. He will not listen to another word of debate. Didn't you hear him? Call him back, right now. And into the stunned silence, a new voice praises the call as a wise decision, greeting Pearl. St. Pearl herself has walked in, unannounced. She apologizes for showing up so suddenly, saying she came because she wanted to thank them in person. She keeps piling on debts, she says quietly, and the room fires back. What debt? How? She asks. Can anyone put a price on saving people? Back on the battlefield, something's wrong. It's spinning webs from its stomach, on the very verge of death, and no one can quite believe it. The realization lands slowly. So that's what it was. Standing over the dying thing. He speaks almost like a eulogy. So this was the mutant that had imprisoned. Withrow was foul-mouthed with a disagreeable personality, he admits, so he probably won't be going to heaven. So if you meet my friend down in hell, he says, beg him for forgiveness. And the last thing left is to see who's still standing when the dust settles. It opens mid-chaos. People are screaming, scattering, thrown off their feet. Whoa, what was that? Nobody knows yet, and that's exactly the point. Someone shouts for Hammer to get the doors open, and through the smoke comes a single, stunned word that changes everything. Copy. The dust settles enough for the survivors to actually look at what did this. What in the world? Their faces say it all. Cut away from the wreckage to somewhere far quieter. An underground bunker tucked out of sight from the world above. The TV droning in the background says it plainly. Next up, news on the SS Opera. The Royal Utopia's cruise has just arrived at Fort Lauderdale, Florida. With the docking of the opera, crews are still assessing the damage. First responders at the port scramble to help the crew and the passengers off the ship. But nobody in the bunker is really watching the news. I told him to wait, someone grumbles, and yet again he didn't. Damn, it pisses me off. The tension snaps into pure comedy. Hey, WH what? Do you need toilet paper? Not exactly the crisis you were bracing for. The real complaint lands flat and cold. I specifically told you to wait. Guess who didn't listen? And here's the actual outrage. There's none left. I wasn't paying attention. Someone raided the food supply, and now there's a mess to fix fast. You ate it all, didn't you? I'm the one who made it. That's the last straw. I'm not going to hold back anymore. I need to teach you a lesson. Then the TV cuts through the bickering with something serious. The news of Superhuman Galen Withrow's passing stops the room cold. The entire world is shocked and saddened by his sacrifice. Withrow was an official superhuman who'd joined the American Superhuman St. Pearl's team. He'd helped resolve nearly half of the inhuman crises in recent years. And now he was gone. A superhuman. Died? One of them laughs it off. Superhumans aren't invincible. Other humans die. The other admits, quietly, that even so, it's a shock. What eats at them is that it happened on St. Pearl's watch. Hard to believe anyone could have died under her. So how strong is she really? I've encountered her before, he says. To be more precise, I got caught peeping in on her fight. A confession dressed up as a brag. We felt each other's presence, and I eventually revealed myself. St. Pearl was radiating hostility, but she still let a suspicious guy like me walk away. What a kind woman, he muses, and then the darker thought slips out. If she decided not to let me go back then. Half of what he says is a lie, and everyone knows it. But on this one point they agree. She's scary. St. Pearl. Meanwhile, somewhere else entirely, a phone is ringing off the hook. Ben. Pick up. Someone is desperate to be heard. The call finally connects. James? Where are you? I caught the news that you'd returned. But what's up with this number? It's a burner phone, you idiot. Now listen closely. There's been a problem. And this one isn't going away quietly. Here's the gut punch that ends part one. Mr. Withrow's body has disappeared. The superhuman the whole world just buried is missing, and that copy from the opening chaos suddenly means everything. Part two is where the hunt begins. Stick around.